Hello ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Today we are going over and we are doing a bus evacuation drill. Now my bus is back in service. I just wanted a bus that would hold more kids, because we're actually doing a very thorough bus evacuation drill, and I figured I'd actually do a video on this. So, due to the fact that I am nowhere close to Florida, I don't necessarily know their general bus rules. I'm only going to read off what my district does, which really is no different than all the other bus rules in the world. It's most likely worded differently. It's 1 through 25, like everyone else. And I'm just casually trying to figure out what I want to do. What I am going to do is I'm going to fuel up the bus. Because we had activated our reds, I have to shut off some. I don't really have to, I choose to disable that. Yeah. So we're going to be doing a bus evacuation drill. And I put a little thought into this. I didn't see it making sense to me if I hadn't if I hadn't, you know, I just didn't want to obstruct traffic, and I didn't really want to go to a place that's commonly used by everybody else and their mothers, if this makes sense. So we're going to the daycare. And the reason why we're doing this around the time I would normally finish up with my elementary school routes was, one, because I had another driver drive my AM route. That's me using the override switch. We're good. Yeah, I don't see any other problems. We're good. Let's rock and roll. Now my problem here is I don't know where I'm going. So bear with me, please. We're in this together. I don't normally drive the bus to the daycare. God, this thing's fast. Oh. Better to start young, I guess. And I park in the back here so other buses can actually still get through. This whole thing starts at 9, by the way. I just forgot to change that back. Alrighty. While I wait. Not pulled this out in a hot minute. There it is. Oh. You know, I was kind of hoping there was going to be an emergency exit door on that side. But they only have one on this side, I just realized. Oops. That's fine. I'll make it work. There is no third high school. There we go. I don't think they'll be used to getting on this kind of bus, especially with me in it, because I don't normally go to the daycare. Ever. I do have a student stop here, but I don't pull all the way in. Morning. Good morning. Morning. Good morning. Good morning. Morning. Walk, please. Thank you. Good morning. Morning. Good morning. 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 Good morning. Morning. People not paying attention. Alright, my friend. I'm going to tell you one little thing. You need to pay a little more attention. Alright? That's going to be critical for you, especially later down the road when you get to elementary school. Alright? Alright. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Morning. Good morning. Morning. Sit down, please. When you guys get to your seats, I want you to sit down, please. Just like as if we were going home, really. Morning. Oh, they even have their stuff. That's going to be great. That'll work out great. morning. Good morning. Is that everybody? All right. I guess teacher needs to be on. All right. Do you need the PA mic? God, it is. Loud in this bus. I mean, I kind of expect that. All right, here you go. All right. All right, my friends. Welcome. Uh, my name's uh, my name's Hunter. You can call me whatever. Just make sure it's appropriate. Uh, we're gathered here on the bus today that does not belong to me. Uh, as it is a spare bus, meaning this bus can be driven by anybody. Uh, we're here to demonstrate the bus rules. We'll even go out the emergency exits. Uh, and before we start, I would like to ask a few questions, or I'd like to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions. It can be about the bus, it could be whatabouts that we're doing. All I ask is that you guys pay attention, as this will save your lives and everyone else's. And and following the rules will actually prevent you guys from getting in more and more trouble. So, before we begin, does anyone have questions they'd like to share? Alright. Can anyone tell me, out of muscle memory, what the first bus rule is? Just raise your hands. I'll pick somebody. You in the very back there. That is one of the bus rules. That is not the first bus rule. Actually, I take that back. That is not really mentioned in the bus rules, although that is similar to one of the bus rules. Alright. Would you guys just like me to do this? I was just curious, just testing your knowledge. I do that a lot, if you don't notice. You in the third row. That's rule 4. Alright. How about I speed this up and I do it myself, alright? Alright, so let's start in the beginning. The first rule you're to obey the driver at all times. I actually, when I'm driving, I actually very often check on the rear view mirror, and if I tell you to do something, I expect you guys to do it. Refusing to do that does lead to bus citations, which can also lead to getting kicked off the bus for a period of time. The maximum I can kick people, actually, I'll wait to mention that part unless someone asks. But yeah, if you obey me as the driver at all times, we'll be all right. Anyone have questions about that? Yes, first row, which would have been beside me. All right. So the maximum time I can kick people off the bus for is an entire school year. I've done this before, and no parent really enjoys that when it comes to that whole situation, because of the fact that uh, they've pretty much just lost their method of transportation. Happens often. But moving on. Second rule is you are not to throw objects in or out of the bus. This is a critical rule. We'll explain the critical rules as time progresses, but throwing objects like your backpack, your pencil, or anything, that can actually lead to serious injuries. Someone can get hurt by that. And it's a huge distraction to me when that happens. This specific rule tends to... This normally would be a automatic bus citation. I don't warn. Actually, I take that back. It depends on the person, really. If they don't break the rules as often, then I'm a little more lenient about it. If they are not, and they break the rules often, then I don't even hesitate giving them a warning. I just go straight into bus citations because of how serious this rule tends to be. Because all I'm trying to do is get you guys to and from school safely. It is prohibited to have in possession of any weapons on this bus, which includes guns, knives, or any anything that would be considered a weapon. That is actually another critical rule, and that's a rule I take extremely seriously. This usually goes and gets an automatic suspension on the bus for the entire school year. There is no ands, buts, and doors about it. And I take it you guys aren't allowed to say that word based off of the amount of gasps on this bus. The third rule is already mentioned. The fourth rule is that it is prohibited to fight, wrestle, or scuffle on the bus. You're actually supposed to be sitting down, back to back, seat to seat, facing forward. Fighting, wrestling, or scuffling is not safe in any way on the bus. Nobody gets away with it very easily because there's usually a big scene that happens because of a lot of people that either are frightened by the whole situation or have suddenly gathered interest, and it also is a huge distraction to me as the driver. But moving on, like I said previously, the fifth rule is that you are not to be standing up or moving from seat to seat while the bus is in motion, which means when this bus is moving, whichever seat you have sat down in, that usually means you have committed to that seat and you will not be allowed to move from other seats unless you ask. And usually I don't even do that even. So this specific issue, I usually write people up for quite often because that ends up following along rule number 1. I don't normally let people move seats to seat or seat to seat unless it is a dire emergency. So, all right. Six is the extension of hands, head, feet, or other objects from windows or doors is extremely prohibited. We are actually supposed to keep all hands, or actually all body parts and objects inside the bus at all times. If I catch somebody doing that, you do end up using window privileges. That's right, the use of windows is a privilege, and I can't take that privilege away. I really don't care if the bus gets hot. Usually we have a few windows cracked open anyway, even if it's raining, to help with ventilation. And if it gets cold, I hate to break it to you, but that's not something I can easily deal with, except turning on one of the heaters, which, yeah. Seven. Possessing matches or other devices such as concussion devices are extremely prohibited to have on this bus. That I can actually write you guys up for that straight away. That I don't really care if it's someone else in possession of that device. If I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, really, I could care less about who has it. It's if I have to write everyone up for it, I will. Although I say that, but and then I pull cameras and I actually find the person that does it, which makes my life 10 times easier. But moving on. Also, actually, before we move on to rule number 8, I need to discuss something about matches. Those aren't toys. You can actually burn the entire bus down doing that. When I get reports that there's somebody with a match, I'm pulling cameras and I'm gonna look and see who's doing it. There's no question about it. Is there any questions before I move on? Is everyone understanding these so far? Perfect. You're probably unaware of what some of the words I've just said actually mean, but your teacher can help you understand this a little bit better. Rule number 8 is use the emergency exits only as directed by the driver. Very good rule to have. So we have several emergency exits on this bus. It is the door you guys entered in, the roof hatches, or the emergency exit doors. We aren't doing the one at the back today. I have the wrong bus for that. So if that's what you wanted to do, I apologize, but it ain't happening today. You will be exiting through a door, on the other hand. And I'll give you further instruction about that later. And actually, all the buses are supposed to have an alarm, which is not implemented yet. For whenever the emergency exits have been messed with, such as you guys playing with the emergency windows, the hatches, you name it. The door you guys entered and exited through does not have that feature, and I don't expect you guys to reach that without a ladder, so yeah, I'm not too crazy concerned about that having an alarm. 9, do not damage school property or the personal property of others, which means writing things on the seats, stabbing the seats with pencils or other writing devices, or everything else with other students' property, like backpacks or toys, you name it. That actually is something I don't warn people about. I just go straight into bus citations. Which means I would pull cameras, and I practically witnessed the entire thing again. 10, critical rule. Well, 9 is also a critical rule, but... Well, 7, 9, and 10 are critical rules, I should say. Do not threaten or physically harm the driver or other riders. Again, my job is... All I'm trying to do is do my job by bringing you guys to and from school. If there is no order on the bus and I have to stop to regain order on the bus, I don't take that lightly. I actually write people up for it. Because now because by that point in time we would be late getting to school. And if by harming me or threatening me, one, that's how you get law enforcement called. And two, that honestly, I struggle putting this part in words because I don't do this often. By threatening me or physically harming me, most law enforcement officers would ask me if I want to press charges. Wouldn't be the first time I've said, yeah, go for it at this point, or no, I'll let the school deal with it. And if they say yes, then do what you gotta do. Because those are criminal offenses there by doing that. Any question about that one? Oh, you guys have a lot to learn. Alright. I'll let your teacher explain these a little bit better when we're done here. 11, critical rule. Do not... I'm sorry. Any disruptive activity... How about I do this regularly? 11, not do any disruptive activity which might cause the driver to stop in order to reestablish order. I've mentioned this one already earlier. That means, uh, uh, if you disrupt my driving by either distracting it or anything else in that matter, and I end up stopping, I do write people up for it. I will stop the bus as quickly as I possibly can to reestablish order. Do we understand? Perfect. 12. Not make disrespectful or obscene statements, which include profanity, including disrespectful or obscene drawings or media materials. Profanity means swearing, my friend. I actually don't care if this one is from Device Audio or someone else. I will write people up for these things. I don't care. It's gonna happen if I hear it. As a matter of fact, you're really not supposed to have any device audio on the bus. You're really supposed to have headphones or other things if you're wanting to listen to your own music. Although, well, your teacher can explain that better for you. "13. Not possess and or use tobacco, alcohol, or illegal drugs." Actually, possession of these three things, are actually, especially at your age, is actually illegal as a whole. I usually talk to your principals about it if I catch you doing it or using them. And this includes vape pens and other electronic cigarette devices. To legally possess those, you have to be 21 years of age. No questions? Perfect, perfect. 14. Not eat or chew gum. That is actually, I'll explain this one better because I can. Sorry, I have a distraction. You're not supposed to have any food, gum, candy, or drinks which include alcohol and tobacco. That is more of a choking hazard. And I would much rather not be responsible for that. The other thing too is I do recommend asking about water. I don't mind if water is actually consumed on the bus. I just ask that you throw away your garbage if you finish it on the bus. Which also brings up a whole different thing. If you have like a hydro flask or a metal water bottle, I ask that you actually put it inside your backpacks. Because those sorry. Just pay attention. But really, what I really recommend you guys doing is actually putting them in your backpacks as they actually make a very loud banging noise, which is extremely distracting, and it actually can cause an accident if I'm actually not expecting that. How do you screw up that turn? Oh, that's right. Never mind. 15. Not carry glass containers or other glass objects. So, in general, glass is actually not allowed on the bus. Uh, glass in general is actually not it's not allowed on the bus in general. I don't really care if it's in your backpack. Just make sure it doesn't break while we're moving. If it does end up making a mess, let me know. I'd rather clean up whatever was in it than dealing with glass. But, yeah. 16. Not take onto the bus skateboards, musical instruments, or other large objects which might pose safety risks or barriers to safe entry and exit from the bus, which means none of those objects are allowed to block the aisleway, because uh, that can cause visibility issues, because the rear view mirror doesn't just exist for uh, it doesn't exist just to supervise the students on this bus. It's actually there to help me see uh, that everything's all right behind me. Like, traffic's gonna stop, because not all of my stops actually don't require anybody to cross the street, because they do. Which brings up another topic that I will bring up on a later time. 17, critical. Not necessarily very critical sounding, but it's something I needed to address. Accept assigned seats. I don't normally assign seats, but if I have to keep order on the bus, I will. I don't care who has done whatever. Not I don't care if they uh, are the ones that do it. If I have to separate somebody, I'm going to assign seats for the rest of the day, or however long I so desire, to keep uh, everybody from taking people's heads off. Exaggerating, by the way. 18, it's actually more critical than you think. Stay away from the bus when it's moving. I don't necessarily I don't necessarily care if somebody else, or I'm sorry, what am I talking about? Oh, right. 18 is stay away from the bus when it's moving. That means if you're outside of the bus and I'm moving, you need to be back away from it. There is blind spots on this bus, and if I can't see you, I won't know you're there, and you can get seriously hurt, or you can even get killed in those incidents. And that would mean I could easily lose a job if that happens. So yeah. 19. I enforce this rule. Every time. Sir, that's not gonna help you. Alright. Be at the bus stop 5 whole minutes before the scheduled pickup time. If you actually have questions about your pickup times, feel free to ask your teacher or the office. If you're not there 5 minutes before your scheduled pickup time and you actually aren't there when the bus arrives, not a lot of drivers do this, but I will not wait for you. If I don't see you at the bus stop, I don't wait. I don't even go to a complete stop most of the time. The other thing too, what was that? Sorry. Oh well. And last but not least, 20. Answer to coaches, teachers, and chaperones who are responsible for maintaining order on trips. Anybody know what that actually means? Chaperones? Tell me. That's correct. Could be a parent. But it's actually somebody who volunteers to go on trips. That's right. That could even be your own parent. That can be your own parents even. They can tell anybody on the bus what needs to happen on the bus. Anyone have any questions about the rules? Perfect. Alright, so let's move on to bus evacuation. These times are actually incredibly rare, but when it does happen, it is a life or death situation. So everybody from the halfway point of the bus. So right at the emergency door there. Up front will actually the row in front of that emergency door will evacuate through the front door. Everybody at the emergency door and behind will exit through the emergency door there. When you exit through the emergency door, I'm gonna ask that you sit down and then slide out. Don't try to jump it, because you will get hurt. Never ever jump that high out of a bus. Even if it means risking a few burns. And do not be afraid to assist the next person behind you and help them get out. That can even be the case for the front door. Although I don't expect anyone needing assistance. And when you exit through the front door, don't even bother sliding out. You've got steps there for a reason. Alright? Excellent. So what I want you guys to do, since you guys have your stuff with you, we're gonna be, so you're gonna when we evacuate, you're gonna leave all of your stuff that you brought with you on the bus. You will come back in and get it, I promise you. Alright. Save the question, please. Save the question. Alright. Actually, I'm gonna wait on that. Alright, are we ready? Alright, I'm gonna open this. I apologize for my reach. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, evacuate the bus, please. Evacuate the bus. Nice. Good job, good job. No, don't stop, don't stop. Keep going. Remember, this is a life or death situation. Somebody could die if you don't help. Good job, good job. How are we doing over here? Nice work, nice work. Everybody who has evacuated, please move to the front of the bus. Get out of the rain. Everybody that has evacuated the bus and is currently evacuating, please move over under the, out of the rain. Get in a line, please. I forgot to mention that. This is where I close this. And make sure nobody has fallen asleep, which nobody has. Cool. Alright, my friends, get back on the bus, please. And get back in the seat you guys were in previously. Which won't be hard considering you guys have your own stuff there. Welcome. Alright. Alright, so in this situation I want a volunteer. I don't care who. Just don't fight over it. And I want you to come up to the front of the bus. And I'm going to give you a situation. Alright? Perfect. Alright. You over there at the emergency exit door. Closest to the aisle. Come up here, please. Alright. So here's your situation. We're driving along, and all of a sudden, you notice that I am no longer conscious, or I'm no longer awake, and suddenly the bus starts speeding up. What would you do? And I'd like you to do exactly what you would do, which would mean you are going to be pulling a parking brake at some point if you're going to be pulling on something here in a minute. The only time you ever get to touch that thing. Ah, nope, 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 nope. Nope. I am already going to tell you that's not the case. No. Never do that. You might want to do something before that ever happens. And remember when I said that you're going to be tugging on something here in a minute. You're actually going to be tugging on two things on this bus, which means you are going to be in my lap at one point because you can't reach it. Ready? No, no. I don't have, don't, try that again. Try that again. There you go. Now what are you gonna do? You can get on my lap now. There you go. There you go. Alright, you can get off my lap now. Yeah, so what he just did was he pulled the parking brake and he activated the hazards. What you would also do is you would make sure the key is out of the ignition because the bus will stop eventually. It will not go to a screeching stop, but it will come to a stop when you pull the parking brake without the brakes applied. And you want to make sure the bus is in neutral and the hazards are on and the key is off and out of the ignition. Well, I wouldn't say out of the ignition, but at least off. And what you want to do is pick up the mic and radio into base that the driver has lost consciousness, or for you guys it would really be the driver has lost or has fallen asleep behind the wheel and requires emergency services. And because you guys are really young, I don't expect you to do this, but what I tell people is you would grab the seatbelt cutter, which is this thing there, and you'd cut the seatbelt off. Don't try to unbuckle it, just cut it off. It's quicker and you would drag me off the bus. Usually I end up having more than one student help with it. We're not demonstrating it today because I don't feel like having back pain again, so yeah, good job everybody. Go back to your seat, please. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for joining me today. You guys can grab your stuff and get on off the bus. Thank you for participating today. Wait. Scooter, come. You're alright. Alright, Scooter, that hurts. Quit it. Alright. Perfect. I can finally leave. You're welcome. Have a good one. Wave at the students. Oh. I'm just gonna go back the same way I came in. I think I'm gonna expand my elementary school route a little bit. Or at least my middle school route. Oh, lordy, lordy. Oh, Lord. Unfortunately, that's gonna have incandescent lights. I'll have to live with that one. 2416 is gonna be a good one. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless.